Hi everyone, thanks for joining me today as I play with some of my new supplies in a new book I showed in my fall haul video last month. So this is Magic Hour by Karolina Kubikowska. I've been wanting one of her books for a while. The artwork is just so unique and has this kind of edgy, sketchy style that I think plays well with moody color palettes, perfect for fall. And because the pages are cardstock and single-sided, you can use a lot of different mediums in this book. And let's see, so I picked this page. I really liked her face. She just seems like it's very like mesmerizing or something. But I think she's a beautiful lady, but she's got 3 eyes, which just again makes it kind of that edgy uniqueness to it. And then antlers coming out of her head. And then you have this big black crow sitting on her shoulder. Her hand is on this cat with black eyes. And yeah, I really like how all this like greenery or leaves and mushrooms kind of help frame her on the page. So all right, so that's the page I'm doing. Now for supplies, I got the Roman Szmals watercolors, and I think when I was picking out colors, I was specifically thinking about this book. So I have a lot of like dark, rich, like fall looking colors. So I love this color right here, like a burnt sienna. This Payne's gray is really pretty. I'm kind of thinking about doing this ocean blue for the background. So yeah, a lot of beautiful colors. And then I also have the Derwent Graphitint mixed media set, which is paint and pencils. And so these are the colors that are in the set. Yeah, I'm drawn to this like autumn brown color, port. Yeah, so just these really pretty like fall muted tones. And just depends on how it's coming along and what I feel like it needs. I also have these Crayola cream sticks, but I'm thinking about just doing maybe black or adding some white. We'll see. I was kind of thinking about putting something over the bird and the moon, just giving it a little bit of a shine. So we'll have to see how it goes, see what it's looking like, and I can use some of that. So, all right, let me get everything cleaned up and ready, and we'll start playing. Okay, I have some wax paper under my page. I will do some zoomed in shots, but I thought it might be helpful to see how I'm using the water and paint to get a better idea of what I'm doing. Not that I know what I'm doing, but you can still see it. Starting off with a size 10 brush and ocean blue, I'm just getting the paint wet, and then I'll add some to my plate, adding a little bit of water. And I'm also going to be adding a little bit of Payne's gray on my plate, so I can use that to darken up the bottom edges and corners. Little nervous with the first laydown of color because everything is new, so not quite sure how it will look. I'll start at the bottom in this small corner. So far so good. The water doesn't completely soak up fast, but I do feel like I need to quickly move it around. I want it to be dark at the bottom and then fade it so it will be very kind of light and washed out around the moon. Next, I'll be working with Caput Mortem. This is one of my favorites of the swatches, so I'm really hoping it looks nice on here. It's a very rich, deep burgundy color. Going forward, I'm just doing a light wash of color to get an idea of how everything looks together, and then I'll start layering more color on top. This is Blue Ridge Burnt Sienna. It will be the base for her hair. I want the mushrooms to be a darker orange, but I'm using yellow. This is benzimidazole yellow for the first wash of color. This will hopefully remind me to take it easy when I'm, using that darker color, so that I have a nice highlight on top of the mushroom. I'm also using this yellow for the antlers. For the leaves down around the bottom, I'll be doing a wash with Hooker's Green. Okay, I'm now going to layer some orange on top of that yellow. This is anthraquinone, there we go, scarlet. It is more of a reddish orange. I'm also switching to a smaller brush, size 6, and I'm going to try to be very careful because I tend to move fast and then it bleeds outside the line, which I really don't want for these particular things. All right, the next shade I'm using is called the Tint. It's a really nice skin tone, and I'm gonna really water it down too. That way I can do multiple layers if I need to, right? It's easier to apply layers than it is to take off. So, yep, just starting off with a really light layer, and it looks dark here, but it definitely dries lighter too. So I let what I had done dry overnight. It has a very dull look to it, so I'm hoping more layers will brighten it up. I also put some clamps on the ends because the water had really warped the paper. And I'm using Caput Mortem again. I'll be using this one a lot for shadows in the hair, face, and fingers, some in the antlers, and then adding more for her dress. All right, and then I'm gonna use the tint again, and this is just gonna help highlight those like bright areas inside her dress. I'm still working on the layering of her skin. I'm too scared to add a lot of pigment, so I just add a little bit and then I wait till it dries to see if I need more. I said it always looks darker when you first put it on, so that kind of scares me. But then when it dries, it's super light. So yeah, I'm just taking baby steps on her skin. All right, let's work on some more hair. I'm going to use that burnt sienna again, and I'm concentrating on kind of softening the shadow areas and bringing this to a more dominant overall color. And then I'll highlight with yellow. Okay, here I go again with her face, adding a bit more caput mortem. I'm hoping to really get some shadows and frame her face. Working on these mushrooms again, I'm using the Anthraquinone Scarlet, more concentrated on the bottom of the mushroom, and then watering it down, working the way up to the top. Right now they kind of look like candy corns, which is cute for the season, but not the look I want. Using Caput Mortem for the bottom of the mushroom, this will help deepen that shadow at the base and create more contrast. Now I'm really liking those mushrooms. They are definitely more vibrant. Working on the leaves now, I'm using olive green light to add some highlights, and then I'm also going to base the leaves above her head too. I wasn't sure what color I wanted to do, but I think the lighter green will be a good balance. Next, I'm going to try out this Derwent Graphitint set. There are some very similar colors to what I've been using, but maybe I can control the color a little bit more than the watercolor, especially in small areas. I'm going to use the Cloud Gray pencil. This is a light gray, but I'm not sure how dark I want the kitty, so I'm just going to build my layers. All right, and then using a water brush, now I can activate that graphitint and move it around. I'm going to darken up these lower leaves with slate green, and this is one that is in paint form. All right, and now I'm gonna take Port, this is in the pencil, and I'm just gonna darken up some of these shadows in here. Again, it's almost like the same color, but I can control like the pressure, intensity a little bit more with the pencil. All right, and I decided to darken up the kitty a little bit more, so this is Midnight Black. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with these taller branch of leaves. I don't want them to stand out or compete with the lower leaves. I picked chestnut brown for the branch, and that will kind of tie into her hair color. Using the Port pencil again, I'm gonna just deepen up the bottom parts of the mushroom. I've decided to use the color Shadow, which is a deep muted teal. That way it covers up the watercolor from the wash for doing the background, but it has a more monochromatic look, so it won't stand out too much. I'll add a little bit of Meadow, which is a chartreuse, just for a little bit of a highlight. But yeah, I think this will work. All right, this is Storm. It is kind of a light purplish gray color. I thought it would be good for shadows in the stems. Even though the bird is black, the ink that is used here isn't very intense. So I'm gonna try to color over it with the paint slate green. Because I think these paints and pencils are made with graphite, they have a slight shimmer to them, which will work perfect for birds' feathers. All right, I think I need to add some more ocean blue here in the background to match the other side. And I'm also going to darken up this little kitty with some Payne's Gray, but I'm going to keep it pretty translucent. That way you can see the first colors kind of coming through. All right, now to highlight around the moon. So I'm just doing a really light yellow wash around the outside edge of the moon. All right, I'm just going to shade a little bit on the inside of these eyes to help them stand out a little bit more. So I'm going to be using a couple shades of gray and then white to kind of soften and blend it together. All right, and then using a black alcohol marker, I'm going to intensify this beak a little bit more. And then taking a yellow paint pen and making the eye just slightly bigger and filling it in yellow. All right, I felt this little blackbird needed some texture in his feathers, so I'm just taking a really dark gray and just doing really kind of light strokes all around, and then a lighter gray, kind of doing the same thing, and then a white just to add a little bit of highlights. All right, and to give it some extra shine, I am going to try to use these Crayola Pearlescent cream sticks. So I'm just kind of rubbing this all around, and then I'm going to rub it with my finger, and it produces like a nice little shine. And I'm also going to use the white and give the little kitty some white shine on these little nose whisker areas. All right, mushrooms have to have little white dots, so I'm using the Posca pen for that, and then I'll use a darker gray to kind of shadow underneath. All right, so let me hold this up and see if I can get it to shine for you. So yeah, there it is on the blackbird. And it's harder to see on the little kitty here, but there is that little pearl shine to his nose area. All right, my first Karolina Kubikowska page is done. It was a lot of fun learning the watercolors and the graphitints. I wasn't expecting to use so many layers of the watercolors, but that might just be a learning curve too. Overall, I think it looks beautiful. After I filmed, I actually went over the moon with the alcohol marker. I just felt like it needed it with the other elements that were that darker black. So thanks for watching, and never be afraid to use new mediums and just have fun. Bye for now.